Captain Jack here. The Romhacking world is constantly moving, and I thought it would be fun to do quick monthly updates on notable releases, starting with this month, right here, now, April 2025. Here are 5 ROM hacks to come out in the last 30 cycles of the Moon and Sun that are important. At least to me. Fire Emblem Illuminated is a fully overhauled version of Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones, with a completely new story, characters, and even weapons. It's got a smaller cast of characters than your average Fire Emblem game, with a more personal story. It centers around a thief who's gotten a hold of a powerful tome that has a limited amount of uses per fight, and it's nice that the main character isn't your average swordsman. The soundtrack is just songs pulled from all over the place, and it's pretty funny that the boss encounter music is an F-Zero song. Just going through the sound test is a treat in and of itself. Fire Emblem Illuminated really isn't that hard difficulty-wise, and with the Sacred Stones being re-released on Nintendo Switch Online the other day, it might just be the perfect time to give this one a look. Super Mario Bros. -2 or -2 is pretty incredible. I feel like we don't get too many American Super Mario Bros. 2 hacks out there. -2 has some quality of life improvements and bug fixes, but that's not the star of the show. It's the 12 characters to pick from now, with the second set of 4 being the original Japanese characters who don't shrink when they get hit, and the third set of 4 characters being entirely new creations for this game. There's Toadette, who can dig anywhere, Rosalina, who actually gains height while floating, Garfield, who gets a random item anytime he picks up a plant, but better than even Garfield is Mirio. No, that's how it's spelled, Mirio, who's just Mario, but can now kill things by jumping on them, which is always what I wanted from this game. It's pretty cool to have a ton of new characters to pick from, but that's where the -2 comes in. You see, there's 4 two-player modes to pick from. How that adds to -2, I don't know. There's the standard one, but there's 3 new ones. Tag Team, which lets the player controlling the game press select to give up control to the other player. Shared Control, where one player controls the movement and the other the A and B buttons. And the best one, Chaos Swap, where the game will randomly switch you every 5 to 10 seconds, with mayhem obviously ensuing. I'm surprised with all this hack does without actually changing the level and enemy content of the game. And if you've never played through Super Mario Bros. 2, grab a friend and give it a try this way. Hyper Metroid Super is an upgrade to the well-loved Hyper Metroid, which is a pretty famous Metroid hack, known for its new map to explore and darker atmosphere. This Super Edition serves as a sort of 10th anniversary version, with new enemies, rebalanced stats, and even modified map data. It's generally slightly easier, and the beginning of the game definitely holds your hand with where you're supposed to go, but hey, I grew up on Metroid Fusion, I like that. Altogether, it's a more polished Hyper Metroid experience, and for that reason, it surpasses the original. Metroid and Legend of Zelda Linear Editions are 2 different hacks made by the same creator with the same design philosophy, so I grouped them together. Sue me. These hacks take both the original Legend of Zelda and Metroid and pump them up with already established quality of life changes while making their game worlds much less confusing. In Zelda, the cost of items have been lowered, and it's basically impossible to miss a dungeon now. It also on-ramps you onto the game in a much softer way, with extra heart containers in the first 3 dungeons and slightly lower enemy counts across the board. In Metroid, the game world is much more straightforward, and this combined with the in-game map means you're gonna have a much easier time knowing where you are than the original release. Also, improvements introduced in future games like Red Doors needing 1 missile instead of 5, and Samus finally starting at full health after a save seems like such basic additions, but it makes this experience just that much better. I'd say out of the 2, the Metroid hack fixes more about what's been making that game age poorly, but both of these are much easier plays, and I'd especially recommend it if you hate the classic NES hard type games and want to experience these 2 franchises' history without any of the classic jank associated with both of these titles. After years and years of work, Princess Crown reached its 1.0 release this month. If you don't know what Princess Crown is, it's an action RPG published by Atlus, famous for both the Megami Tensei and Persona series. Princess Crown was released in 1997 for just the Sega Saturn, and it never got an English release, and up until very recently was basically completely unplayable for English speakers. It's an RPG. Come on. And now a complete translation is here, with very little of the bugs and missing texts from the previous versions. The game itself is this gorgeous 2D powerhouse that the Sega Saturn was known for, and it has a kind of storybook aesthetic to it. You'll run from screen to screen between towns and forests until you get into fights that have you focus on your timing in order to get the better of your foes. I feel like the Sega Saturn is kind of a ground zero for these massive translation projects, like Shining Force 3 and Bulk Slash. But Princess Crown definitely takes the crown for being the prettiest Saturn game to get this treatment. A warrior princess story never looked this good. Let me know if you like this monthly format, and all the links for all of these hacks will be in the description below. Bye for now.